It's Sim Guru Megs here at the Fire Monkey Studio for the first time in 2 years. Sims TV is the place for news and updates on all things Sims for mobile, and we're here today for a special episode to talk about the new Sim improvements coming to the Sims FreePlay. But before we get into it, I'm sure a lot of you watching are huge Sims fans. The Behind the Sims Summit has literally just streamed a mere few hours ago, so make sure after you watch this, you go and check that out with all the details that are coming to the Sims FreePlay. But on the couch with me here today, it's David and Nick, who are lead and senior artists who worked on the new Sim improvements, which include refreshes to our Sims faces, as well as shared hair and earrings and glasses for all Sims life stages. Welcome, and thanks so much for being here.
Thanks. It's good to be here.
Thanks for having us.
I'd love to hear a little bit about your roles and the things that you did around this new Sim improvements, please.
Yeah, so I'm David, I'm the lead artist, and I've been here for 8 years.
I'm Nick, I'm a senior artist, and I've been on Sims FreePlay for 11 years.
Nick, what were our reasons? Let's start from the top. What were our reasons around doing this project with improving our Sims appearances, and how did it all come about?
Yeah, well, it's been a really big request from the player. They felt like the Sims looked a bit dated. I think that's something that the team has felt for a really long time as well. We really wanted to do something about this. So eventually we just made room in our timeline to make it happen. They were originally built for old phones, 2011 specs probably. Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah. So while the rest of the game has improved in fidelity, we have, beautiful furniture packs and a lot of really great things. The Sims haven't had a chance to move forward, so their journey's sort of been on hiatus for maybe a bit too long.
Now, David, what was the aim and the North Star of this project? And can you give us an overview of how it all works?
Sure. So really the aim was to improve the visual quality of the characters. That was first and foremost. When we started 10 years ago now, we were referencing Sims 3. Subsequently Sims 4 has come out, so we looked at Sims 4 and how their characters looked and how we could improve ours to not necessarily match but be a closer experience for people who were playing both games. Mm-hmm. And customization definitely was a big reason why we decided to update this. And in terms of surfacing, this will just be a free update that will be available to anyone when they update the game.
Love that. So it's automatically applied to all Sims and it's free and permanently staying that way.
Absolutely.
Cool. Are the old faces going to be available anymore?
No, they're not.
Gotcha.
So one of the aims also was to make sure that we improve the characters, but keep it your character. So it should look like your character, but improved.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, Nick, what was the research process like? Where did you even begin to start looking into this, and how did it all come about?
Yeah, well, because we're a Sims brand, we did look at Sims 4 as a comparison, and moved in that direction visually, but we also looked at magazine models and famous actors from all the different age groups that we were touching and working on. I guess that sort of all came through in the new and improved heads.
What kind of things did you learn along the way doing your research? Was there anything that really fascinated you around what you were learning? Because obviously we've got a lot of furniture and outfits in the game, but touching on faces for the first time in a really long time would be like uncharted territory. Yeah,
definitely. As games artists, we sometimes do characters. It's a bit fun, but it's been a long time for me personally to. So I was pulling out the old anatomy books and, comparing with what I see in photos of real faces. And yeah, that was really great. It was a fun experience to get into the foundations of faces and, bring something forward that had a greater fidelity. And we had the freedom to do that by phones have better specs these days. So.
David, this is my favorite question out of all of them. I think this is the most impactful that really drive home just how much work went into this. Like the whole face improvements and shared accessories touched every discipline in the team, but what are the technical details and how did it get implemented and how does it all work?
Right, so we pretty much grabbed the old model and just looked at its mesh, its textures and how we can improve it. So we've essentially doubled everything. So the models are now twice as dense, I guess, as the original ones. Textures are double the size now. We've unmirrored the face textures, which means we can put makeup on one side instead of having to have them butterflied or mirrored. And probably the biggest improvement is we've added eyelashes and tongues, which really helps with animation
expression.
And expression.
It's so exciting. Gosh, it's like absolutely stunning. I love the before and afters of the old and new, just purely with those added details. It's just spectacular.
Yeah, the animators were really excited because they got to animate a tongue licking, was it ice cream or icing?
If it was probably an ice cream, I can't remember.
You'll see it in an update coming soon. So, yeah.
Love that, you've heard it here first. So to either of you, I have a bit of a curly one. What kinds of challenges did you guys come up against along the way, and how did the team overcome them?
Well, sharing hairs and accessories across both genders was, I guess it was a large undertaking because we've got about 500 hairs, hats,
there's a lot.
Glasses,
and then following, glasses and earrings as well. So, and they were originally built to different proportions of heads. The males have a slightly wider head, a bit squarer. We just unified the heads so that we could, and then modified all of the assets that are existing in game. So that they now work across both males and females. And we did that across each age group as well, so there's a whole lot more opportunity, which is great. But yes, it was a challenge. It took time to chip away.
Yeah. Technically, it's a lot of work to go back and retrofit the 500 odd hairs and accessories that needed to be done.
Exactly. We also shared some of the final edits with our EA creators, who are our super fans and our biggest advocates for the game, and they came back with some feedback as well around what they thought about what we'd delivered, and the team went back and implemented some of those changes too. So it really feels like it reached all the disciplines and everyone was part of the team. We're really excited about it. But I guess my next question, what's your favorite change out of all of them, and like out of the new improvements, and why? And what's your favorite life stage, like the before and after the dramatic change?
Sure. My favorite is the adults. I think it's the one we paid the most attention to because it's the one the players use most. And I also like the children. The children have improved a lot.
They're adorable now, instead of a little bit creepy. No, that's great. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, no, I agree about the children. They're really expressive and fun. I quite like the elders. It's a bit of a special one.
Yeah. Bit more charming.
Yeah, they are quite charming. Yeah, it's really nice to sort of see a granny grin. They're just got such a nice kind of rich smile, especially.
Yeah. So David, we mentioned just a little bit earlier about the shared hair, glasses and earrings. Can you talk a little bit about how that came to life, and was it part of the discovery of the new faces that you thought, we can actually do this? Like, what was the point of doing all this as well?
Actually, funnily enough, it was probably the first thing that we were investigating when we started this journey.
Okay.
One of the really big things we wanted to do was to allow players to use whatever hairstyle they want.
Yeah.
There's no reason to limit a male hairstyle to a male character and a female hairstyle to a female character. And players should be able to express themselves however they feel.
Mm-hmm. So that is a wrap for our episode of Sims TV today. Thank you so much for being here to walk us through the really impressive improvements to our Sims appearances that's available right now in your game. Tell us what you guys think on our social media channels. We'd love to hear if you love it and what you'd like to see in the future. The game team are really passionate about continuing our efforts in diversity and inclusion, so stay tuned for all the new things we'll be delivering in future updates. Thanks for watching.